Section 7.6 is titled Percent of Change. A few vocabulary terms to start. We have the percent of change, which is a ratio that compares the changes in quantity to the original amount. So when you're asked to find the percent of change, you're going to take the amount of the change and divide it by the original amount. If the percent of change is positive, then we have a percent of increase. And if the percent of change is negative, we have a percent decrease. So let's look at some examples. Find the percent of change from 60 to 84 degrees. Then state whether the percent of change is an increase or a decrease. So first, step one is to find the amount of change. So we're going to take 84, subtract 60, and we get 24. Step 2 is to actually write the ratio that compares the amount of change to the original amount. So in the previous example, on the previous slide, we had percent of change was equal to the amount of change over the original measurement, or the original amount. So in this case, the amount of the change is 24, and we're dividing it by 60, which was the original. 24 divided by 60 is 0.4. But remember, we are writing it as we need a percentage, so that's going to be 40%. Now it says that we are to also state whether the percent of change is an increase or a decrease. So step 3, we have the percent of change is 40%, and it's positive. So we have a positive percent of change, which is a percent increase. So first we need to find the amount of change. Then in step 2, we'll use the amount of change over the original amount to find the percent of change. And then step 3, we have to determine whether it's percent of increase or percent of decrease. Here's another example. Ty has 52 comic books and now he has 61. Find the percent of change, then state whether the percent of change is an increase or decrease, and we need to round to the nearest tenth here if necessary. So step 1, 60 minus 52, that gives us 12, and it's always what you have now subtracting what you had to begin with. So it's always, or excuse me, it's 61. 61 minus 52, and I don't even know why I put 12 because it was 10 or 8, but 61 minus 52 is 9. And now to find our percent of change, we write the amount of change over the original amount. So 52 divided by, or 9 divided by 52. Punch that into the calculator. We get 0.17307, and then it continues on, but it says to round to the nearest tenth. And here's where you have to be careful. I'm going to write the decimal out. I'll just go 5 places. But we need to change it to a percentage. So it's 17, and now is where we need to round to the nearest tenth. So it's 17.3% is the percent of change. Don't round the decimal, round the percentage. And for step 3, this is a percent of increase. Because the percent of change is positive. Okay, now we have a few more definitions. A markup, that's when a store sells an item for more than it pays for that item. And we have a selling price, which is the amount that the customer pays. So make sure you write those definitions down. I will be checking for them. And let's find the selling price if a store pays $42 for a pair of rollerblades and the markup is 25%. So first we want to find the amount of the markup. The whole is 42, the percent is 25. We need to find the amount of the markup or the part. So remember we have our equation that we used in section 7.5, the blank percent of blank is blank, or that part, the same way to say, another way to say that is part equals percent times whole. So in order to find the part, or the markup in this case, let's call it M. We're going to take 0.25, notice I'm changing the percent to a decimal, times $42. So 0.25 times 42, so the markup amount is $10.50. Remember, we are talking about money. But this isn't the answer to the question. This is not the selling price. This is how much more it was marked up over what the store paid. So now we have to add the markup to the cost. So $42 plus $10.50. That means that the selling price for the rollerblades is $52.50. And all stores have markups, or they wouldn't make any money. They have to pay employees, they have to pay for electricity, and they still want to make money. So that's why we have a markup. Let's look at another example. We have find the selling price if a store pays $75 for a bike and the markup is 40. So 40%. So again, we want to figure out what the markup is in a dollar amount. So we have the part equals percent times whole, and you should have this equation written in your 7.5 notes. So if you're not sure where I'm getting that from, it's from that lesson. So we don't know the part or the markup, and I'll call it M. So that's going to be the amount of the markup. It's going to be 0.40, that's our percent in a decimal, times $75. So the markup in a dollar amount, 0.4 times 75 is $30. And now we want to take the amount that the store paid for the bike plus the markup amount to get the selling price, which is going to be $105. So the store would sell the bike for $105 and make $30. The last thing we want to talk about is a discount. So now a discount is the amount by which the regular price is reduced. Let's say oftentimes we see discounts when stores are trying to get rid of inventory. Maybe they ordered too much of something and now they just want to get rid of it. It still may be over what they paid for it that they're selling it, but it's not quite as much as they were selling it initially. You'll see a lot of discounts after Christmas because stores order in a ton of inventory for the Christmas season and then they want to try to get rid of it after Christmas. So let's look at some more examples. Dunham's is having a sale. A volleyball has an original price of $59. It is on sale for 65% off the original price. Find the sale price of the volleyball. So this is a pretty good deal if it's 65% off. Possibly it's the end of summer or the end of volleyball season, so they're trying to get rid of volleyballs to maybe make room for more basketballs that they've ordered in. So the first thing we want to do is find the amount of the discount. So we're going to use our equation that part equals percent times whole. So if the percent is 65 and the whole is 59, we're going to find the amount of the discount. So I'm going to call it D this time for discount instead of M for markup. But the percent, so it's 65% of the $59, which was the original price. So 0.65 times 59, we get $38.35. So the volleyball is discounted $38.35. In the markup examples, we would have added that number, but now because it's a discount, we want to subtract this number from the original price. So we're going to take the $59, we're going to subtract $38.35, and this is going to give us the sale price. 59 minus 38.35 is $20.65. So that's the price that the volleyball is now being sold for. This is the sale price of the volleyball. And there is actually a second way that you could solve this problem. If we understand that it's 65% off, how much are you paying? So the customer would be paying 35%. If you take 100% and you subtract 65%, because that's the amount off, you get 35%. That means the customer pays 35% of the original price. So in this example, if S is the sale price, or we'll just have P represent the price, and again we're using part equals percent times whole, we're going to take 0.35 times the original price, because this is what the customer is paying, 35%. And here we actually would get 0.35 times 59 is $20.65. So you see you still get the same answer, two different methods. Here I subtracted what the percentage off was, or what the discount was. And on the right hand side, we figured out what the customer was actually going to pay themselves and found it that way. Last example, we have a magazine subscription that has a cover price of $35, but it's on sale for 67% off the original price. Find the sale price of the magazine subscription. So we're going to use our part equals percent times whole. So again, the discount, the amount off, is going to be equal to 0.67 times the $35 original price. So we do 0.67 times 35, and we get $23.45. So remember, that's the discount. And if that's the discount, that's how much we need to take off of the original price. So to find how much the sale price is, or what the sale price is, we're going to take 35 and subtract 23.45. 35 minus 23.45 is $11.55. So this is what you would pay if the $35 magazine subscription was 67% off. And let's look at the second method again. If it's 67% off, how much is the customer paying? What percentage is the customer paying of the original price? So if you take 100% and subtract 67%, you get 33%. So that's how much the customer pays. So now, in order to find the price, we're going to take the percentage the customer pays and multiply that times the original price. We should get $11.55. So 0.33 times 35 is in fact $11.55. So again, two methods to solve the same problem. In class, we will work on worksheet 7.6 and deal with percent of change.